What has been my favorite subject since I started the channel 4 years ago? What has it been? It's the deficits. There are some ominous signs and dark clouds in our future. FYI, our deficit just this past few days hit $36 trillion. Okay? This is the national debt. Why is that? Well, we keep printing and spending, and there is no there is no respite for any of this. And every 100 days, the national debt is gonna go up by another $1 trillion. Literally, it's a fact. So every 100 days, so 100 days from now, when I'm doing Power Hour, I'm gonna come out, ding, ding, ding. National debt just hit $37 trillion. Okay, well. It's out of control train, really. It's just off the tracks. It's going places. It's going to hurt. And somebody, are we going to pay this debt back? Absolutely not. What do? We issue more debt. The interest we're paying on this debt is $1.2 trillion a year. That money could be used. But now, supposedly, we have DOGE, right? Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk and Vivek. And let's see what they do. I mean, they're also talking a big game about cutting a lot of federal workers and getting the deficit, getting the debt under control. In fact, Elon a couple of months ago said country is going bankrupt. I mean, I'm not sure about that. As long as we have the world reserve currency status, as long as we can print, I don't think we're going bankrupt in the literal sense. But yeah, I mean, our budget is blown. We have 4.7 trillion coming in, and we have 7.5 trillion going out every year. It's unmanageable. I cannot run my household like that, right? And so the estimates on the deficits is this. So shout out to the Kobesi letter, as I always do. I follow him on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter as well. And look at the chart on the right. Okay, so there is a chart on the right that's almost going 90-degree parabolic now. Okay, parabolic meaning straight to the sky, and those don't end well. If it was a stock, I would say I would short that stock because that's not going to end well. Well, this is not a stock. This has been going on and on and on. And look what happened since 1976, which happened to coincide, by the way, with us deserting or abandoning the gold standard. Look what happened. But at least those days, we were getting our money's worth out of borrowing money, right? We were getting 4-to-1 GDP growth versus every dollar we're borrowing, we were getting $4 in additional gross domestic product. While today it's down to 54 cents. I just checked. So we're at a deficit. If we're borrowing a dollar, we should at least get $1 worth of GDP out of it. Initially, this worked beautifully, right? 4-to-1, 5-to-1. No problem. Economy grew. That's why our GDP at the moment stands at 27 trillion. But our debt is at 36 trillion. So we're 135% of our GDP. Okay. And here's from the CBO. Here's the CBO's Congressional Budget Office. Here's their forecast. So you guys see on the chart on the right hand screenshot, 2024, we're at 35 trillion. Well, we're at 36 now. This was probably done like their estimates. This chart was done probably a couple of months ago. We're at 36. So there is a 30. So let's put a circle on 36 in 2024, 36 trillion, right? Look at the next date. There's another circle way up top there, 2034. That's 10 years from now. 10 years is not a long time. When I was younger, I used to think 10 years is forever. Now it's flying by, right? 10 years from now, what is the estimate? What is it? 57 trillion. Well, it's pretty logical, right? If our national debt's going up $1 trillion every 100 days, that's how we're going to get there in 10 years, probably higher. So U.S. national debt is set to hit a massive 57 trillion over the next decade, according to the Congressional Budget Office forecasts. Why is that? Well, that's because we print, we borrow more than, and we spend it all. And we have 4.7 trillion coming into the treasury, and we spend 7.5 trillion a year. Where do we spend it? Is that where DOGE is going to cut it? Is that where the maybe deregulation is going to come? And I think this new administration is thinking more than cuts, firing people, which they're going to do some, obviously, with the federal workforce. But I think they're looking more into deregulation and growing the economy faster, growing the GDP faster. Okay. And since the debt ceiling crisis ended in June of 2023, total US debt is up shocking 4 trillion. So in other words, the US has added an average of, are you guys ready for this? I have a video actually, go check it out. In other words, by the way, every unborn child, every unborn person, and every single person in this country who is legally in this country has over $120,000 in debt. All of us in the chat, me, a pregnant mother's child that's unborn, they're born with $120,000 debt in their neck. That's how the national debt is at. That's where we're at. So the U.S. has added an average of 235 billion in debt every month, every single month since 2023, or 8 billion a day. We have to borrow 8 billion a day to sustain this madness. Okay, this is going to end badly. When is it going to end? I don't know. My crystal ball is not that great. However, when this ends, and we're already seeing the downside of this, which is a lot of governments around the world, and I have a video about that too, that coming up actually, I think today, is they're abandoning the US dollar. Okay, they understand the debasing of the currency, they're abandoning the US dollar, and they're going buying hard assets, right? And last but not least, I've been saying for this, at least on the channel, for 4 months, but privately in the past couple of years, is debasing of the currency is a massive issue, right? We're just devaluing our currency, okay? And what we're doing is losing buying power, and our incomes have not kept pace with any of this thing that's going on. So, okay, well, at 36 trillion going up 100 trillion every 100 days, I don't think it's a manageable situation. At least we should have some sort of a balanced budget going on, right? I mean, I'm not saying this 36 trillion can be gotten rid of or reduced, but what it could happen is that, how about we stop spending and borrowing and spending? We cannot print our way to prosperity. It just does not work. And all it will do is it will just create more inflation, because the definition of inflation is too many dollars chasing too few goods. We just keep pumping, right? And it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's like an anchor in the economy. If this anchor was like, imagine you have a boat, right? You're dragging anchor. Most of you know what that is. It's slowing down the boat. It's slowing down the engine. It's taking a lot more extra power for the engine to drag that anchor. Well, if we lift that anchor, at least lift it, not reduce it, not lift it all the way to the boat, but at least lift it off the seafloor. We can go, we can accelerate our GDP, and our debt to GDP ratio will lower that way. So look, to me, importantly, most important thing is to get it under control first before we can reduce it. And once we do that, is it going to be Doge? Is it going to be Elon? Is it going to be Vivek? Is it going to be this new administration? Time will tell, but I think this must be done. There's no need to mortgage an unborn child's future with $120,000 in debt. And it's not their fault. They're not even born yet, and they're being born to this planet with $120,000 in debt. It's just not cool. It's just not fair. And so that's that. And I'm going to keep talking about these deficits until something is done.